Not least of all because I think the attention span tends to alter in different generations. But I think they are getting better at telling that story, and I think it will be easier for people to access. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think any of you here would be aware of the fact that the last time, and I'm here today.
The hush of Windsor's Grand Hall, crystal chandeliers catching the light, a gathering of familiar royal faces. Most royal speeches pass into history with polite applause and neatly packaged sound bites. But this one was different. The air felt heavy, almost electric, as if everyone present sensed that something monumental was about to be said. Princess Anne, the indomitable workhorse of the monarchy, stood poised at the podium. Her practical tweed jacket contrasted sharply with the grandeur around her, a reminder that she had never been one for frills or ceremony. Then it happened. Her voice, usually steady as steel, wavered. "It's time for the new generation," she began, the words tumbling into the silence. "Catherine and William will follow us, my brother and I." It was more than a statement. It was a passing of the torch wrapped in emotion, delivered with the weight of half a century service. And in that moment, the future of the British monarchy shifted. Anne, 74, has always been the embodiment of royal duty. Known for her no-nonsense attitude and relentless schedule, she has been a constant, quietly holding the monarchy together through decades of turbulence. Her speeches normally champion causes close to her heart: rural communities, equestrian sport, veterans. But this was different. This wasn't just about work. This was personal. The gathering was meant to be a simple celebration of Anne's decades of service, a private, family-centered affair. Instead, it became an unplanned declaration of change. Her voice cracked as she mentioned her brother, King Charles, and their shared journey from childhood to crown. "We've been the bridge," she said softly, "but now it's their turn." That single phrase set off a firestorm. To the public ear, it sounded like Anne was hinting at something more than a gradual transition, perhaps even an abdication. And when the word abdication is spoken in royal circles, it rattles the very walls of Buckingham Palace. Royal historians still recall the scandal of Edward VIII, whose departure for love in 1936 remains one of the monarchy's greatest crises. To hear even the faintest suggestion of stepping back is enough to stir unease in the press, the public, and the palace alike. Yet, insiders insist that this was not a scripted abdication announcement. Anne's speech wasn't approved for such language, but the emotion behind it made the meaning impossible to ignore. King Charles's battle with cancer in 2024 changed the royal landscape. Although his treatment was successful, it forced him to delegate more duties, with Anne stepping up as his most trusted lieutenant. Behind closed doors, aides have long discussed the inevitability of passing more responsibility to Prince William and Catherine, but no one expected Anne to voice it so openly or so poignantly. She and Charles are the last of the Queen Elizabeth II trained generation, the post-war royals who see duty as unshakable, no matter the cost. Her choked delivery felt like an acknowledgement that even the strongest pillars must eventually give way. When Anne finished, there was a long pause. Then, polite applause laced with whispers. Charles, seated nearby, leaned forward and took her hand. Observers say his face held a mixture of pride and sadness, the look of a man hearing the inevitable said out loud. But it was William and Catherine's reaction that drew the most attention. William's eyebrows lifted ever so slightly at the mention of his name, while Catherine offered a poised smile. Yet later, sources claim she admitted the moment struck her deeply. This wasn't just a tribute to the future, it was a family bombshell. In the days that followed, reports emerged of a private family meeting. According to insiders, William voiced concern about the pace of change, noting the importance of preparing carefully before taking on the full weight of the crown. Catherine echoed his call for unity and patience, especially as she was still regaining her strength after her health challenges in 2024. Other royals reacted in different ways. Prince Edward was said to be deeply moved, sharing that Anne had carried more than her share of the load. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie posted cryptic messages online about legacy, and new chapters behind closed doors. Some questioned whether Anne's remarks were premature, especially since Charles was recovering well. When the story leaked, it dominated headlines. Polls showed a surge in public support for William and Catherine, stepping up sooner rather than later. Yet the speech also reignited old debates about whether the monarchy should modernize faster or hold firmly to tradition. The word abdication became a trending topic, with royal commentators dissecting Anne's tone, posture, and phrasing frame by frame. For many, it was the most human moment they'd seen from the royals in years. The ripples from Princess Anne's emotional farewell didn't fade quietly. They crashed against the walls of Buckingham Palace, echoing through every office, every meeting, and every private family phone call. For weeks, the royal household became a hive of whispers. Staff who usually exchanged routine updates on charity events and ceremonial appearances were now speaking in hushed tones about succession strategies. The Queen's private secretary once described the monarchy as an ocean liner that changes direction slowly. But Anne's speech? That was a sudden, sharp turn, and everyone felt it. In the aftermath, insiders confirmed that a series of private meetings began taking place at Kensington Palace, Sandringham, and Windsor. Anne herself became an unofficial advisor, quietly mentoring William in one-on-one discussions that stretched late into the evening. Those present described the sessions as part history lesson, part crisis management course, all grounded in Anne's trademark blunt honesty. "Don't think about what people want you to be," she reportedly told him. "Think about what the job needs you to be." Catherine, meanwhile, took a different approach, focusing on forging a bridge between the institution and the public, fine-tuning her already admired warmth into something that could carry the weight of the crown. What of King Charles in all this? The king's reaction was one of measured restraint. Publicly, he made no direct reference to Anne's words, continuing with his scheduled duties. But privately, insiders say he appreciated the frankness, even if the timing caught him off guard. Some close aides suspect Charles sees merit in overseeing the transition, while still healthy and active, much like Denmark's Queen Margrethe did in 2024. Others believe he's unwilling to contemplate stepping back so soon after waiting decades for the role. Either way, his silence is strategic, keeping the public guessing, while internal preparations continue. Whether they feel ready or not, William and Catherine have seen their profiles rise sharply since Anne's speech. William has increased his diplomatic engagements, holding private briefings with senior ministers and expanding his involvement in international relations. He's also doubled down on his flagship initiatives, Earthshot Prize and Homewards, not just as projects, but as test runs for the kind of global and domestic leadership expected of a monarch. Catherine's recovery from her 2024 health battle has been woven into her public narrative of resilience. She's launched new mental health and childhood development programs, positioning herself as both a modern royal and a compassionate figure with the emotional depth to match the ceremonial gravitas. At the 2025 Windsor State Banquet, the pair hosted world leaders with a grace that didn't go unnoticed. One diplomat reportedly remarked, "It felt like they were already king and queen in all but name." Behind palace doors, the emotional impact is still being felt. Prince Edward has publicly praised William and Catherine's readiness, seeing in them the same dedication his sister Anne has shown for decades. Princess Beatrice and Eugenie remain supportive but cautious, aware that generational change often comes with shifts in roles and visibility. More senior courtiers, veterans of the Queen Elizabeth II era, are torn between loyalty to Charles and a pragmatic acceptance that the next reign could come sooner than expected. Tensions flared during at least one family meeting, when William voiced concern about being thrust forward prematurely, but Anne, unwavering, assured him that preparation is never premature when the stakes are this high. Polls taken in early 2025 paint a clear picture. Britain overwhelmingly supports William and Catherine as the future of the monarchy. Approval ratings hover above 75%, with younger voters citing their relatability and older voters admiring their steadiness. Social media hashtags like Royal Future and Next Chapter trended for weeks. Fans debated whether Charles should step aside by 2026 to ensure a modern monarchy, while he can still oversee the handover. The press has split into two camps, one urging a gradual transition to avoid instability, and another pushing for a bold, symbolic moment of change. Anne has not disappeared from the scene. If anything,
propelled this modernization, urging the institution to adapt. Palace operations are streamlining with fewer working royals and a leaner budget, reflecting Charles's vision, but amplified by William's practical approach. Critics argue this risks diluting royal mystique, but supporters see it as survival, ensuring the crown endures in a skeptical age. The gears are turning, and Anne's words have set the stage for a vibrant, if challenging, new chapter. As the echoes of Princess Anne's final speech linger, the monarchy stands at a crossroads, poised for transformation. Her choked voice, raw with emotion, was more than a farewell. It was a clarion call for evolution, signalling the dawn of a new era led by Catherine and William. This moment, steeped in vulnerability, reminded us that even royals grapple with the passage of time, balancing duty with personal sacrifice. Anne's words were not just about stepping back, but about trusting the next generation to carry forward a legacy forged through decades of service. The impact is undeniable. The royal machine is turning, and the world is watching. What lies ahead for Catherine and William? Their path is both exciting and daunting. William's focus on sustainability and mental health, seen in projects like Earthshot, aligns with a modern monarchy that resonates with younger generations. Catherine's work on early childhood development, grounded in empathy, complements this vision, promising a compassionate reign. Together, they bring a fresh perspective, blending tradition with innovation. Insiders hint at expanded roles, with William taking on more state duties by 2026, potentially reshaping royal protocols to be leaner yet impactful. Their ability to connect, evident in heartfelt public moments like Catherine's cancer recovery announcement, ensures relatability. The broader implications are profound. Anne's speech sparked global conversations about the monarchy's relevance in a rapidly changing world. Public support, reflected in recent polls, favours this transition, with many praising the couple's authenticity. Yet, challenges loom, balancing family life with immense responsibilities, navigating media scrutiny, and maintaining unity amid past tensions. Anne's advisory role will be crucial, her experience a guiding light. This shift mirrors historical transitions, like Queen Elizabeth's gradual delegation, but feels uniquely modern, driven by a digital age and global expectations. The human side of